I think I was unfortunate enough that nobody actually taught me or told me that content creation is not as easy as it sounds, right? Um, yeah, initially, before I started buying the equipment that I need, cameras and everything, um, I thought content creation is just going to come easily. Like I'm just gonna sit in front of the camera and say a bunch of nonsense, and then hopefully people will like it. Or I'm just gonna share what I know, like a piece of my knowledge, and make it entertaining, and everybody else is gonna find it entertaining, and then I'm gonna skyrocket to 1 million subscribers. Though I still believe I'm gonna skyrocket to 1 million subscribers plus, um, my main idea was I did not expect social media or content creation to be this easy. Now, let's kickstart everything with the background. Why did I want to start making content? Why did I want to start being in front of the camera? Okay, number one reason why I wanted to start content creation is I don't know much about manifestation, but I do know that the tongue has the power to speak life and death into existence. And so, if it has that kind of a power, obviously, it could have the power to manifest things into existence. And so, I'm one of those people who believes either one, I'm going to be famous, two, I'm going to be successful. And when I talk about success, I talk about having mastered myself, being a master of myself, my emotions, and gaining a certain level of confidence and being able to express myself verbally with words. Because that's one thing I strive to do as I shoot content. You know, I still try to take different lessons of how I can improve my vocabulary, how I can improve my public speaking and stuff like that, including being able to speak and express myself well with the accurate vocabulary and the right words. Because one thing I've actually come to learn is that when the mind is slow to bring words into the mouth for you to express, that's where most people end up saying so many times. So then you speak something, you say something, and then you keep saying that's because you're trying to reach into your head to find something to say. So that's one thing I still try to work on, that as I run out of ideas, because before I could set up my camera to shoot this video, I was just sitting, staring at the camera, blindly staring at the camera, without having an idea of what I wanted to talk about today. And it is only when I watched other people's videos online that the inspiration finally came. And so that's the first reason why I wanted to, I think that's the first and second reason why I wanted to start doing content creation. Because I do firmly believe I'm going to be successful, right? So I got to start somewhere. But it's crazy because I don't think everything has to be taught to oneself. I don't think people have to teach me everything all the time. I think some things are well learned when we are self-taught, when we learn by experience, and when we go through certain things that nobody told us about, and taking that leap of faith to actually start doing something. And so part of that reason of content creation is that it kind of helps me, because I'm one of those people who like talking. I like expressing myself. I like talking about everything. I like discussing ideas with people. I like genuine conversations, which is why if you look at some of my videos, they are very long videos, like 12 minutes or 13 minutes. It's because I try to create content that I like, and the content I like is long but fruitful and genuine conversations. Yes, because I got to realize that if I want to have a genuine conversation with people, and I want to have a genuine conversation with the world, it's going to include talking for a very long time. And unfortunately enough, in the time that we live in, of reels and shorts, our attention span is cut down to a minute long video. So obviously, the people I'm addressing and the people I'm talking to in my videos are not the short kind of people, the reels kind of people. They are the people who value information, who have a wide attention span. And so part of this video is that I wanted to talk about how complex or maybe how difficult content creation is. And I think I've already highlighted the first idea that sometimes you run out of ideas, which is why if you stick around long enough on my channel and on my videos, I plan to have a secondary or a second playlist where I'm going to start having podcasts with special guests. Right. So I'm going to have a show, a part of this channel where I'm going to be discussing ideas with different people, different interests, different topics, music, art, you name it. So I'm going to have that section of my channel, because sometimes doing things alone is very limiting, because that's one other thing I learned with content creation and maybe talking to other people, getting an insight of how they think and some of the ideas they have is, if you have a goal that you plan on reaching in 5 years, if you put together a group or a crew, you might stand a chance to slash that time in half. You might end up taking 2 years to achieve the 5-year plan or the 5-year goal. So that's one thing I'm also trying to work on, to build a team or to build with somebody else, with other people. So I think it's also very fascinating because it helps me establish the topics and to give me new ideas of some of the things that I could discuss in my video. Though some of them being, I know I have to be reading books, I could be reading on different topics so that the ideas come, right? And so I guess that's one of the things I'm currently not doing, which is why I'm so limited to what I can say and what I can share, is because I'm not a regular book reader, right? And some of the books that I read, the books that fascinate me, are mostly psychology books, self-development books, and maybe I can start talking about those. Though I do have a podcast, a very short podcast, unfortunately, on YouTube, under Let's Talk Studios. That's the studio that I used to use. I used to talk under Let's Talk Studios. So I still have part of the podcast there. You can check that out if you want to learn a bit of self-improvement and self-development, because I did address some of those things in there. So back to the topic of why content creation is not as easy as it sounds. It's not as easy as just saying a bunch of nothing in front of the camera. It takes a lot of planning. I've realized it takes planning, saying the right things to the right people at the right time with the right vocabulary. So I think it's mostly about planning. You have to plan on everything before you execute. And one other important thing that I learned is, I did make a video about it, so I'm going to often repeat it, right? To start even when you don't feel like starting. Because sometimes I do rehearsals before I press record. I pre-record some videos just to test the sound, to test what I'm saying, if it makes sense. And if it doesn't make sense, I try to fix that part that doesn't make any sense. But apart from that, after I've planned everything, and then now the execution part comes in, because sometimes I might sit in front of the camera and my mind just goes blank. I just go blank, and then I don't know what to say. And that sometimes when I force being in front of the camera, it has an advantage, and there's also a disadvantage to that. Because the advantage is, when I put myself on the spotlight without knowing what to say, it forces my brain to work harder, 2 times harder or 5 times harder, to generate ideas, and to help me in the process of creating new ideas. Because sometimes I do enjoy forcing myself to do certain things, especially the good ones, not bad ones. So when I force my mind to work overtime, yeah, sometimes the ideas, that's when they are well established. But the disadvantage of actually forcing something is it's not going to be perfect. And that's okay. That's also still okay not to make perfect content or perfect whatever. And I am still trying to also adapt and be comfortable with being uncomfortable. So that's one of the things I'm currently working on. But again, back to topic of why it's so difficult to make content creation or to make content is because one other fact I'm currently struggling with is the statistics problem, where I will shoot a video, especially when I know I haven't been consistent for the past couple of days, or the time that I should have spent being consistent, then I wasn't consistent. Then I'll take a majority of my time just looking at the views and the likes and the analytics and just everything that goes with content. Just regularly checking if people liked my comment, my videos, or there's a comment I should be replying to, stuff like that. So it makes me overly obsessed with the analytics and the statistics of how my content is performing. So once I get over that, it's over. Once I can get over that mind barrier to say I shouldn't be so obsessed with the statistics, it's over. Because one other thing, one important aspect of this that I'm currently developing is trying to let go of the notion of perfection, right? So I got to discover that I'm more onto the side of perfectionism, and I'm still trying to break that. So once I get over that and start being consistent regardless of perfection, yeah, I think we're gonna get somewhere. And quite frankly, if I could be honest, I think it's coming along great. Yeah, for these past 2 days, I was able to shoot something and to put out something. So I'm very much proud of myself.
Oh my
And
God!
yeah, I guess that's how it's going. But apart from me just saying, it's quite unfortunate that nobody ever told me that content creation takes a lot. I'm still very, very happy and very satisfied that I get to go through this experience, because 5 years from now, I will be telling a different story than what I'm saying today. I could, 10 years from now, I will be talking about different things, about how I used to struggle and how I used to doubt myself. And then I'm on one of those, what do you call it? The interviews that celebrities do. Yeah, whatever. I don't remember even one of them, but I will be part of them. Yeah, where they get to interview famous people. And yeah, I'm gonna be in one of those episodes one day, and then I'll be talking about how I used to doubt my content. I used to think my quality of maybe sound output or video output was bad, and now I'm at the top, and yeah, it's crazy. So I guess that's one thing that's motivation for me, regardless of how my progress is going. That I always remind myself that I'm worthy of success. That at some point I will reach a point where I'm like at the top, and I'm just reminiscing about the times that I was struggling to make ends meet and to put out content, and some of the struggles and trials that I went through. And yeah, I will definitely remember to talk about those in one of them interviews, right? Yeah, so it's still pretty cool. Yeah. So I will further continue making content, regardless of the self-doubt and sometimes saying things that don't even make sense, because I'm not going to make sense to everybody, but with the right people who listen to my content and are engaged to my content, they will understand what I mean. So this is only the beginning, right? I'm gonna make a lot of mistakes. I'm saying it right now. Expect me to make a lot of mistakes because this is the primary stage of my content. This is the primary stage of my channel. So you should expect a lot of mistakes, a lot of stuff that don't make sense, a lot of horrible editing and horrible sound output. But be rest assured, I will reach the top. I will make it. I am going to make it. And if you like this video, once again, hit that like button and subscribe. And yeah.